After being reborn, I actively severed all ties with Cameron Liu. He applied to the National Defense University in the South, so I changed my application to the People's Public Security University in the North. The main idea is to avoid seeing each other from all corners of the earth. When he returned home for the new year, I drove out for a trip overnight. I don't answer calls, nor do I reply to messages. He just transferred to the city where I work, and I immediately applied for a transfer. I won't even see his face. In my past life, I loved him for 30 years, and I was neglected by him for 30 years. I was diagnosed with cancer in my 40s. At the final moments of my life, Cameron was busy setting up a new home to marry Sarah. The two sons I raised with great effort are busy with their marriages. I lie alone on the hospital bed waiting to die. I no longer want to live such a failed life. Chapter 01. After resubmitting my college entrance exam preferences, I felt completely relaxed. Finally, I no longer have to be entangled with Cameron. No one knows that I have been reborn. The deadline for submitting early admission preferences is tomorrow at noon. I'm afraid the internet will be too slow tomorrow, and I won't be able to log in, so I rushed out to change my preferences overnight. In my past life, I chased Cameron for a lifetime and also blamed him for a lifetime. In the end, it only results in a bitter ending. In this life, I no longer wish to have any dealings with Cameron. I want to never see him again, no matter the distance. July 13th is my 18th birthday. On that day, I will publicly tell him, I will not get engaged to you. You are free now. There are still 15 days left. Just as I left the internet cafe, I received a text from Cameron. I'm out with friends. Might be back late. Cover for me, thanks. I casually replied with, I have known Cameron since childhood. His dad is my dad's comrade, and his mom is my mom's best friend and colleague. I lived at his house for 3 years, always calling his mother Lou Mom. His mom treated me better than her own son. I had a crush on him, while he liked Sarah. I originally planned to keep this feeling buried deep in my heart, honestly being his little sister for a lifetime. But on the day the college entrance exam ended, Cameron took me to a bar. While I was drunk and went to the bathroom, I was molested by 2 men. If it weren't for Cameron coming to find me after I hadn't returned for a long time, I really don't know what would have happened next. I feel that being molested is a tremendous insult. I almost committed suicide. Lou Mom believes that Cameron didn't protect me well, forcing him to agree to our engagement. Out of guilt, Cameron agreed that as soon as he received the admission notice, we would hold the engagement banquet. Sarah couldn't accept Cameron wanting to get engaged, and she made a huge fuss. Cameron found every excuse to comfort Sarah. In his past life, Cameron really loved Sarah deeply. He would give up anything for her, including his principles, future, and conscience. The more I entangle myself, the more I lose. The more I lose, the less willing I am to accept it. I used every means at my disposal to oppose them, wanting them to suffer as I did. In the end, my close friend, Mama Lou, cut off all ties with me. The 2 sons I raised with great effort have also completely abandoned me. I heard them say, Mom, living like this is so exhausting. It would be better to die early. That way, we can support Dad and Aunt Sarah. They've had a hard 30 years. In this life, I will no longer be the villain who tears apart their marriage. I don't want those 2 white-eyed wolves anymore. I fulfilled them, and I also let myself go. Modifying my early application choices is the first step away from Cameron. It is also the first step of living for myself. Chapter 02. In my past life, to be with Cameron, I gave up my dream of attending People's Public Security University. I accompanied him to the National Defense University, which he longed for. The fully militarized management is far more stringent than police management. The training time and projects are also more, leaving me physically and mentally exhausted. It's unbearable. What makes me feel worse is that Cameron and Sarah are exchanging glances right under my nose. I was driven mad with jealousy in my heart, yet I dared not jump out to accuse them, because I was the third party. Later Sarah was suddenly expelled from school. Cameron thought I was the one who did it, and he never gave me a good look again. After graduating from college, Cameron was reluctant to fulfill his promise to marry me. until I received Sarah's wedding invitation. In order to cut off Cameron's feelings, Sarah hurriedly married a wealthy second generation who was good for nothing. Cameron was heartbroken and, like a walking corpse, completed the wedding with me. After the wedding, Cameron kept avoiding me. I haven't returned home for several years. When I went to see him at the army, he preferred to stay on duty for his comrades rather than return to the dormitory to accompany me. Lou Mom calls me every day to ask if I have children yet. She even sent me a set of lingerie to please Cameron and to let Lou Mom hold her grandson as soon as possible. I shyly climbed onto the duty room's bed wearing it. Cameron pointed at my nose and called me cheap. I couldn't take it anymore and ran back overnight, insisting on divorcing Cameron no matter what. Cameron come back and apologized to me. Soft words and gentle persuasion comforted me, filling the void of 3 years late in our wedding night. In just one night, I became pregnant with twins, no less. I thought that having children would make Cameron take on the responsibilities of a husband and father. It was only later that I realized the children could only trap me. The only one who could trap Cameron was Sarah. Even though he knew that I was in labor because of Sarah's provocation, nearly losing 3 lives, he still defended Sarah at all costs. To make me forgive Sarah, he knelt before me and stabbed himself twice to atone for Sarah. At that time, I was still in the hospital, and the 2 children were still in the incubator. He didn't ask a single question, nor did he look at the children even once. As soon as I got home, I received a video sent by Sarah. In the video, she and Cameron were tightly embraced, dancing a thrilling dance. When Lou Mom came back from her night study and saw me engrossed, she leaned in to take a look. After seeing the content of the video, Lou Mom was furious. This damn kid, leaving his fiancée behind to accompany a stranger? I will skin him alive. Sarah, this vixen, is really shameless. Cameron is about to get engaged, and she is still clinging to him for this kind of dance. I will go to talk to her parents tomorrow. Sarah, her dad is the security guard at our school. Her mom is a cleaning worker. Lou Mom, as the principal of the school, has never made things difficult for them, until she discovered Cameron was secretly dating Sarah. Lou Mom values social status. She looks down on Sarah's family background. She hopes Cameron will be with me, because my dad is a major. My uncle is the principal of a key provincial high school, and my uncle is the director. My connections can make Cameron's future brighter. In order to break them apart, Lou Mom goes to great lengths to find fault with Sarah's parents every time she sees them. She hopes Sarah can have self-awareness and stay away from Cameron. However, Sarah and her parents are desperately clinging to Cameron, refusing to let go. In my past life, we, the mother-in-law and I, couldn't drive Sarah away from Cameron. After I had exhausted all my strength and Mom Lou grew old and weak, Sarah successfully married Cameron. I also gained my 2 good sons. In this life, I will no longer stop them, but I will not interfere with Lou Mom. Sarah wants to be Lou family's daughter-in-law. She must pass through Lou Mom's approval. Chapter 03. Lou Mom's method of punishing Cameron is only one: using a feather duster to hit. A sharp scratch, particularly fierce. I thought that after being hit, Cameron would blame me for telling on him and ignore me. I didn't expect him to come and apologize to me first. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. I was just dancing with Sarah and nothing else. Don't worry. I know my place and won't do anything out of line. He spoke very sincerely. If it weren't for my keen eyes, I would have believed his nonsense after seeing the hickey on his neck. He has always been a liar. He used all sorts of tricks to deceive me when we were kids. He made me cry for him, laugh for him, and cause a scene for him, yet I never thought of him as a bad brother. Because he spoiled me, after giving birth, he lied to me saying he had cut off all ties with Sarah. I took my 2 sons to the army to celebrate his birthday, but in his dormitory, I saw Sarah and her daughter along with a room full of women's items. Later on, I fell gravely ill and asked him to come see me in the hospital. He said he was injured and couldn't move his legs. In reality, he was busy preparing for his wedding with Sarah. In my past life, he deceived me for a lifetime. In this life, I will no longer believe anything he says. As long as I don't believe him, he will never be able to deceive me. I gently waved my hand. You don't need to explain. I have no right to interfere with your freedom. Sarah, when you sent me the video, your mom happened to be right next to me. I didn't tell on you. It was just her bad luck. Showing off love leads to a quick demise. If she hadn't deliberately come to provoke me, trying to assert her dominance in front of me, I wouldn't have been humiliated by Lou Mom. Cameron bitterly smiled. How could you not have the power to interfere with me? Once I receive the admission notice, we will be engaged. Once engaged, I will be yours. I will follow your orders and serve you faithfully until death. That won't happen. I will not receive the admission notice from the National Defense Science and Technology University, and I definitely won't get engaged to you. You don't have to feel so wronged. There's no need to deceive me against your will. There are still 14 days. Just hold on. Cameron asked, what 14 days? Oh, it turns out he even forgot my birthday. I pushed Cameron out of my room. The day you regain your freedom is coming. I will fulfill your wish. After filling out the application, I have to prepare for the military inspection. Cameron, under Lou Mom's strict supervision, hasn't gone out to meet Sarah again. Cameron, who is in the Chow camp but has his heart in Han, spends all day holding his phone, either chatting on the phone or video calling. Lou Mom catches him once and beats him once. She even handed me a feather duster, asking me to hit him a few times to vent my frustration. I couldn't be bothered to waste time and energy on this. Let's forget it. Cameron thought I was reluctant to hit him, feeling quite touched. Don't worry. I'm just chatting with her about ordinary topics between friends. Nothing else. I know I have an engagement, and I won't act recklessly. What does an engagement even mean? Even a marriage certificate can't stop him from secretly flirting with Sarah. I replied vaguely. Just running, long jumping, and doing sit-ups every day exhausts me to death. I still need to practice problems to prepare for the psychological test. I really don't have the energy to care about who he's flirting with. Cameron is very worried that Sarah won't pass the interview, and asked me if I have any connections. If I have the will, there will naturally be a way. But why should I cause trouble for my family because of someone I dislike? No, haven't you always pursued fairness and justice? Are you going to make an exception for Sarah? Cameron wasn't satisfied with my answer, but he didn't say anything. He just never took the initiative to talk to me again after that. I had long since gotten used to his indifference and disregard, so I didn't feel particularly sad. Lou Mom thought we were under too much pressure and didn't want to talk. She didn't take it to heart. She just kept finding different ways to make us delicious food every day. On the day we set off for military inspection, Cameron picked a rose from the garden early in the morning. Lou Mom smiled and said, "This kid finally gets it. He knows to bring you flowers." I didn't tell Lou Mom that the one who likes roses is Sarah. This flower is not for me. Chapter 04. As soon as we met, Sarah slapped me. You are too cruel. You stole Cameron and still aren't satisfied. You even had Mrs. Lou fire my parents. Sarah's parents were fired? It seems Lou Mom is really angry this time. But what does this have to do with me? Is Sarah trying to take her frustration out on me because she doesn't dare confront her future mother-in-law? Just because the tiger doesn't show its power, does she think I'm a sick cat? I raised my hand to hit back. Cameron stopped me. Her parents lost their jobs, and life at home is very difficult. Don't hold it against her. If you're really upset, just hit me instead. A few more hits are fine too. I was so angry that I laughed. Just because her family is having a hard time, I can be slapped? Am I her punching bag? I asked Cameron, what are you to her? Can you apologize for her and take her hits? Cameron then remembered that we have an engagement. As her fiancé, he should defend me, but he still didn't let go. If it weren't for that incident, we wouldn't have gotten engaged at all. My mom wouldn't have targeted her parents either. Cecilia, Sarah is already feeling very upset. Can't you show her a little understanding? In a past life, we studied together at the National Defense Science and Technology University. Whenever I had a disagreement with Sarah, Cameron would always use words like these to make me back down. He clearly knows how much I am averse to that matter. Yet he keeps bringing it up. In order to protect Sarah, he stabbed my heart without hesitation, one knife at a time, as if I wouldn't feel pain. Now he treats me like this again, but I will not back down anymore. I coldly faced him and slowly pried open Cameron's hand. Cameron was afraid that if I caused a scene, it would put Sarah at a disadvantage, and he quietly begged me to forgive her. Cecilia, she really didn't mean to hit you. She was just too angry. I took a deep breath and interrupted Cameron, saying, "What if I call the police right now?" Cameron knew that if I called the police, there would be no chance for Sarah to attend the interview. After hesitating for a moment, Cameron stepped aside. I swung a slap towards Sarah. At the last moment, Cameron still couldn't bear to let Sarah take that slap. He pushed Sarah away and voluntarily offered his own face. I used all my strength to slap him, leaving a bright red handprint on Cameron's face. Sarah exclaimed, "Cameron, why did you do this? What right does she have to hit you? I will get revenge for you." Cameron blocked Sarah, asking me with red eyes, "Is it okay now?" Seeing their angry and aggrieved expressions, it seemed like I was the one being unreasonable. "Forget it. Only 12 days left until it's over. Just bear with it." Cameron was fully focused on Sarah, worried that she might be affected by her parents' unemployment and fail the interview. I didn't even notice that I wasn't in the same exam room as them. During the physical fitness test, Cameron finally noticed. He asked me if I had changed my preferences. I didn't want to talk to him, so I lazily nodded. Cameron seemed a bit angry. "Why?" I suddenly felt I couldn't stand the fully militarized management, so I didn't want to go. Cameron pressed me on which school I had filled in as my first choice. Telling him might make them a bit happier and cause me less trouble. "People's Public Security University," Cameron subconsciously murmured. "So far away? Only by being far away can I avoid disturbing your love for each other." I didn't say a word and brushed past Cameron. As I was going down the stairs, a hand reached out from behind and pushed me. Although I grabbed the handrail in time, I still twisted my ankle. "It's not serious, but it will definitely affect my physical test scores," Sarah coldly said. "You almost made me fail the interview, so I will make sure you fail the physical test." I glanced at the surveillance camera above me and said nothing. The test is about to start, and I don't have time to get entangled with Sarah. After the examiner learned that I had twisted my ankle, he moved my name to the last on the list. He even thoughtfully found someone to give me a massage. The first event is the 50-meter sprint, and I took 15 seconds. Not qualified. There are a total of 4 events, and I must pass all 3 of the remaining events. Otherwise, I won't be able to enter the early admission batch. I can only go through the regular batch. The examiner's gaze was also filled with concern. In the standing long jump, I only jumped 4 meters on my first attempt. I only just qualified on my third jump. I qualified for the 800-meter run and sit-ups that followed. As soon as I left the examination room, I called the police. Sarah was arrested by the police. Chapter 05. Cameron was frantic and, after failing to negotiate with the police, came to plead with me. "Cecilia, can you forgive Sarah? She didn't mean to dot." I asked Cameron if he had seen the surveillance footage. If he had even glanced at it, he wouldn't have said such things. Cameron knows in his heart that Sarah was being intentional, yet he still defends her. "She has some misunderstandings about you. I will gradually guide her. I promise she will never do anything to hurt you again." Sarah has always thought that the bar incident was orchestrated by me. It was to separate her from Cameron. That is a scar I cannot show. Yet they repeatedly bring it up in front of me. Now, Cameron has brought this up again. I firmly refused, saying, "Your guarantee is useless. You can't control her, nor can you bear to punish her." Cameron was extremely embarrassed, for Sarah's ignorance of her own limits, and for my lack of consideration, but he still couldn't let go of Sarah. "You really can't." I interrupted Cameron's words. "If she does something wrong, she deserves to be punished. That's what she has coming. I won't forgive her. In my past life, I was just too weak, always unable to be ruthless. That's why Sarah kept stepping on my head and jumping around. This time, I must make her learn a lesson." I turned back to the room. Cameron grabbed my arm and pleaded softly. "If I were to ask you for a favor based on the kindness I've shown you over the past 10 years, would you be willing to give me this face?" Over the past 10 years, Cameron has truly treated me very well. He protected me like an older brother. gave in to me, took the blame for me, fought for me, and cursed for me, especially after my mom passed away. If it weren't for him, I would have developed a mental illness long ago. Where else could I take the entrance exam for the People's Public Security University? It was precisely because of his kindness towards me that I couldn't let go of him in my past life, always hoping he would come back. I have no parents to rely on, no siblings to keep me company, just him. At that time, I didn't know that once a man has someone he loves, he can no longer care for his childhood sweetheart. In this lifetime, I will have no further connection with him. This love should be returned to him. All right, remember what you said. From now on, we owe each other nothing. Seeing my resolute tone, Cameron looked a bit panicked. If you want to say something else to me, I directly pushed him away and closed the door. Cameron couldn't open my door and sent an apology text. Cecilia, I'm sorry. I've made you sad again. See? He knows everything. Yet he still resolutely protects Sarah. Apologizing is meaningless. You are just following your own heart. Anyway, I no longer love you. No matter how painful. It's only 6 days. Just endure, and it will pass. After Sarah came out, she not only didn't hold back but instead intensified her provocations and insults towards me. You are nothing but a parasite living under someone else's roof. What are you pretending to be? A big shot? Calling the police? Is that going to help? Don't you know Cameron's father is an officer with strong connections? Could you stop shamelessly clinging to Cameron? Even if you cling on desperately, how long can you hold on? Once we get into the National Defense Science and Technology University, we won't come back for a year. Will you even see him? Even if Aunt Lou protects you, she can't come to school and take Cameron away. Cameron doesn't like you at all, so how could he possibly fall in love with you because of the responsibility you imposed on him? He will never get engaged to you. He will definitely not marry you. Just give up on that idea. I was busy picking out the evening gown for my coming-of-age ceremony and didn't intend to pay Sarah any mind. I really couldn't stand her arrogant and foolish demeanor. I decided to kindly give her a hint. Cameron has never told you, has he? My dad is also a major, on the same level as Lou's dad. My uncle is the principal, and my other uncle is the director. If I wanted to kill you, even Cameron couldn't save you. Did you think it was Cameron who used connections to get you out? No, it was him begging me to spare you, and he assured me there would absolutely be no next time. That's why I agreed to let you go. If I don't nod my head, forget about National Defense Science and Technology University. You won't be able to get into any school that requires a political review. Do you understand? Sarah doesn't believe I have such a strong background. You just keep bragging. Who saw your dad during the 3 years of high school? When did the principal ever give you a backdoor pass? Is the director such a big official? You're just a pathetic homeless person, mooching off Lou's family. The 4 words homeless pierced my heart. Although my family background is very good, and many people can support me, but I don't have a home. My dad is a workaholic and rarely comes home. The last time I saw him was at Mom's funeral. It has been more than 3 years since then. Uncle and my maternal uncle are both very busy with their own families to take care of. No one can take care of me. Since my mom passed away in the car accident, I have been living at Lou's house. For the past 3 years, Lou's mom has treated me like her own daughter. I have also regarded Lou's mom as my own mother, until I was reborn. I recall how, after falling out with Cameron in my past life, she criticized and ignored me in various ways. I could no longer be as close to her as I once was. Every day living in Lou's house was a torment. 3 more days. Chapter 06. The day before my birthday, my aunt called and said, "There's something I've thought about and decided I should tell you." Well, there's a new discovery regarding the incident of your molestation. In my past life, I was very sensitive about this matter. Just hearing the word molestation made me furious. I didn't let Aunt continue. Now I understand. I want to hear what kept her awake so early in the morning. You speak. The 2 people who harassed you were likely instigated by Autumn Lou. At that time, they were already drunk and were guided to see you, according to their descriptions and that of the bar staff. That person was likely Autumn Lou. None of the nearby surveillance cameras captured her face, so there is no proof that she was at the bar at that time. There is also no evidence to suggest that the person who instigated them to harass you was her. That's why Aunt never told you. Just keep this matter to yourself. There's no need to speak of it. After hanging up the phone, I was lost in thought for a long time. It turns out that the two perverts who truly ruined my life were. It was Lou Mom, who treated me like her own daughter. She didn't like Sarah and was drawn to my family background, which is why she devised such a wicked plan to force Cameron and me to get engaged. I was merely a pawn she used to break up Cameron and Sarah. I was a stepping stone for Cameron. No wonder she always encouraged me to compete with Sarah for Cameron. After I repeatedly lost to Sarah, she looked down on me for being useless and stopped caring about me since I couldn't win Cameron's heart. I am left to struggle alone with my two sons. While I was fiercely competing with Cameron, she was plotting against me behind my back. From beginning to end, she never truly cared for me, only schemes and exploitation. Lou Mom entered the door with a big box, smiling brightly. "Cecilia, I have prepared a surprise for you. Open it and take a look." I obediently took the box and opened it, pretending to be surprised. "Wow, what a beautiful skirt." "Thank you, Lou Mom." Lou Mom held the skirt up against me, growing more and more satisfied as she looked. "On the day you get engaged, will you wear this skirt?" "Yes, I will wear this skirt when I get engaged to Cameron. I will give this skirt to Sarah. It should be quite interesting for her to be your daughter-in-law. You have harmed me for a lifetime, so I will make sure you never find peace for a lifetime." I smiled as I linked arms with Lou Mom and said, "Lou Mom, I have a surprise for you tomorrow too. My coming-of-age ceremony is being held at the most luxurious hotel in the city. The guests at the banquet are not many. Besides my parents' close friends and relatives, there are only Lou Mom and Cameron. Lou Mom is chatting happily with my relatives. Cameron awkwardly greets my uncle and uncle. A waiter came in and asked, "Miss Lou, there is a little girl named Sarah outside who says you sent for her. Should I let her in?" Hearing Sarah's name, Cameron shuddered and shot me an angry glance. Lou Mom smiled with satisfaction, revealing a look of approval towards me. Aunt sneered and glanced at Cameron. "Isn't that the one who pushed you and almost made you fail the physical test?" "Sarah?" I smiled and nodded, asking the waiter to invite Sarah in. Cameron tried to stop her, but the waiter completely ignored him. Sarah was wearing the white skirt she had on when she danced with Cameron. She had also put on makeup and styled her hair into beautiful braids. She was very beautiful and confident, standing proudly at the door. When Sarah saw me surrounded by everyone, the light in her eyes dimmed instantly. When Cinderella burst into the prince's banquet, there was not only surprise but also insecurity. Cameron immediately stepped forward, using his body to shield Sarah from the probing gazes of others. He really is considerate. He used to be like this with me too. "How did you get here?" Cameron looked full of concern. "Cecilia asked me to come. She said you would propose to her today." "Cameron, can you not propose to her? I really like you. I know I can't compare to Cecilia, but I really like you. Sarah's voice gradually faded away. She had just turned 18, and seeing my birthday made her understand the distance between us. If she were Cameron, she would choose me and give up on her. She tightly grasped Cameron's hand, like a drowning person clutching the only piece of driftwood. Seeing that I had not taken any further action, Lou Mom's face showed impatience. Reminded, "Cecilia, what did you call her here for?" I suddenly realized and had the waiter go upstairs to bring a large box. I handed it to Sarah. "This is Lou Mom's engagement gown for her future daughter-in-law. Why don't you try it on and see if it fits?" Sarah held the box with both hands, looking at Lou Mom in surprise. "Madam, are you really going to have Cameron get engaged to me? And you even gave me a gown?" Cameron looked at me in a panic. He had a hard time convincing himself to give up Sarah and get engaged to me. He has been tormented for so long. I never expected that I would suddenly back out of the engagement. I really don't want him anymore. And I even arranged this embarrassing scene of the daughter-in-law meeting the in-laws, forcing his mom to accept Sarah in public. He finally understood what I meant by fulfilling what he said. The panic in Cameron's eyes grew more and more. I asked him before he could speak, "Do you like this surprise? I prepared it for you for half a month." "Cameron, this time you finally don't have to say sorry to me, and you don't have to say thank you either. Because I had ulterior motives. Chapter 07. Lou mom panicked and snatched the evening gown back from Sarah. You wish. Do you think you deserve it? This is the gown I prepared for Cecilia. Cecilia, didn't Lou mom say yesterday that this is the gown for you? So you can wear it on your engagement day. How did you misunderstand Lou mom's intention? The one who misunderstood was her. I only accepted the evening gown, but I never said I would wear it. She gave me a surprise. So naturally, I have to return the favor with a surprise. I took the evening gown from Lou mom and handed it to Sarah. Cameron likes Sarah. So naturally, the one he is engaged to should be Sarah. Lou mom, you shouldn't break them apart. Love conquers all. You should believe that they will support each other and become better versions of themselves. I also gave Sarah the 4-leaf clover bracelet that Cameron gave me as a birthday gift. This is Cameron's bracelet. Try it on and see if it fits. Cameron and Lou mom were completely stunned. Cecilia. Cameron reached out to pull me, but I gracefully dodged away. I pushed the dazed Sarah, go change into the evening gown. If it doesn't fit, Lou mom can alter it. Sarah joyfully thanked me and walked away with the evening gown and the attendant. Lou mom stopped Sarah. Stop. That's not your thing. You can't touch it. Aunt pulled Lou mom aside to counsel her. A forced fruit is not sweet. This girl looks good. She will definitely succeed in the future. Lou mom exclaimed. As the daughter of a security guard, what makes her worthy of my son? If you really like her, why not let her be your daughter-in-law? Aunt shrugged her shoulders. She doesn't even like my son. Besides, my son already has a girlfriend, a female inspector. It's probably serious. Lou mom became even angrier, fiercely twisting Cameron twice and pushing him in front of me. Cameron, you need to clarify things with Cecilia. Tell her that you like her, not Sarah. Hurry up. How could Cameron possibly say such insincere words in front of Sarah? He can't bear to let Sarah feel even a little wronged. At the same time, he is also aware of how much he has hurt me to protect Sarah. Even the friendship between us has been used up by him. What right does he have to say he likes me now? Even if he says it, I wouldn't believe him. Cameron looked at me with a complicated expression, filled with grievance and regret. Just as he was about to speak, Sarah came running towards him. Cameron, this skirt fits me perfectly. Come on, tell me I look good. Cameron nodded, but his gaze was still on me. Sarah was dissatisfied with Cameron's indifference and lightly punched his chest twice. You didn't even look at me. Do you not want to get engaged to me? Cameron did not respond. His gaze was still fixed on me. He hadn't looked at me with such focus in a long time. Whenever Sarah was around, his eyes would unconsciously drift towards her. Now that I was about to leave, he actually couldn't bear to part with me. Hearing the words engagement, Lou mom went crazy again. If it weren't for Aunt stopping her, she would have torn Sarah apart. Lou mom mentioned in front of everyone that I was molested. It's all Cameron's fault for taking you to the bar and not protecting you. Did it scare you? Are you okay now? Everyone knows that's my Achilles heel. In the 3 days right after it happened, I was like a madwoman, not eating or sleeping, making a fuss day and night. Uncle and aunt. No one can comfort me. Only Cameron can help me sleep peacefully. When Lou mom suggested that Cameron get engaged to me, no one opposed it. Now that I have finally emerged from my predicament, I have decided not to get engaged to Cameron. They naturally won't oppose it either. However, what Lou mom said might cause me to break down again. There was a murderous look in Uncle and Uncle's eyes. Cameron kept giving Lou mom hints to stop talking. Lou mom, like a blind person who can't read the room, continued to tread on my sore spots. You must never go to those mixed places like bars again. It's easy for girls to get hurt. Uncle, filled with anger, was about to stand up, but Aunt held him back. Lou teacher went to the bar that day too, right? Why was she still wearing a mask in the middle of summer? Is she sick or is there something she can't disclose? Since you were there, why didn't you just call Cecilia back home? Lou mom knew that the matter had been exposed and didn't dare to say another word. To ease the atmosphere, my aunt asked about the admission situation. Cecilia, are you still applying to the National Defense Science and Technology University? Has the list come out yet? The suitcase and computer you need for school, Lou, have already been prepared for you by your aunt. I put down my chopsticks. No, I applied to People's Public Security University, and the list has just come out. I didn't let everyone down. I got accepted. Friends and family said many words of praise and blessing. Sarah inappropriately spoke up. You want to be in public security? With your spoiled princess demeanor, can you handle that hardship? Is the salary of a police officer enough for you to buy a skirt? Cameron wanted to cover Sarah's mouth, and Sarah playfully kissed his palm. Such intimate little gestures are sweet and exciting only when there are just the two of them. In a public setting, it appears particularly vulgar. Cameron blushed. He didn't even dare to lift his head. I retorted calmly. People like me are actually the most suitable for public security studies. We can truly uphold dignity without being subdued, and resist corruption from wealth. We serve the people wholeheartedly. If someone like you were to join public security, it would be a true harm to both yourself and others. A little bit of petty gain can easily buy you off. With just a slight pressure, you would yield to personal threats. Uncle enthusiastically applauded me. Well said. Our public security system needs talents like you. On behalf of the Provincial Public Security Department, I welcome your joining. Aunt joined in the cheer. Then I'll reluctantly represent the prosecutor's office to welcome you. Sarah recklessly questioned my uncle and aunt why they had the right to represent the Provincial Public Security Department and the prosecutor's office in welcoming me. It's not like they own the place. Cameron no longer wanted to deal with Sarah. The mocking gazes from the crowd made him wish he could find a hole to hide in. Chapter 08. Before the meal was finished, Cameron left with Sarah. Her foolishness only showed in front of him, which was called innocence. Being exposed in front of everyone is called embarrassment. Lou's mom also left midway. After dinner, I didn't return to Lou's house, but directly stayed at the hotel. Aunt sent a waiter to Lou's house to help me pack my things. I returned to my own home after staying at the hotel for 2 days. My home hasn't been lived in for 3 years, except for the dried flowers on the balcony. Everything is just as it was when Mom was still here. After tidying up a bit, I wore the clothes Mom used to wear and lay on her favorite rocking chair, dreaming of being loved. My mom is a very beautiful and elegant woman who loves to dress up and have fun. Mom spoils me. Whatever I want, she gives me. She said that I grew up without my father by my side and that I was a sensitive girl. She had to give me a lot of love for me to grow up healthy. But before I could grow up, she was gone. After receiving the admission notice, I took a photo and sent it to my dad. I want to go see him. I wonder if he is available now. I haven't received any news from Dad, but I did receive an apology from Cameron. Cecilia, I'm sorry. When you had a dispute with Sarah, I always protected her and neglected you. I don't like her, nor did I ever think about getting engaged to her. I just felt sorry for her and wanted to help her. I believe what he said is true. He likes Sarah, but it's not to the extent of wanting to marry her. One reason he has always been infatuated with Sarah in his past life is due to love that could not be attained. The more unattainable it is, the more one desires it. Once it is within reach, it feels meaningless. After countless twists and turns, I replied to him with a single sentence. I will eventually meet that person who will always stand by me. Whether it's friendship or love, I just want someone who will always be on my side. On the day I set off for school, Cameron wanted to take me to the train station. I refused. It's not good to let your girlfriend misunderstand. Cameron furrowed his brow. She is not my girlfriend. I have already made it clear to her. I smiled faintly. She doesn't think so. After Sarah received Lou's mom's engagement gown, she has always considered herself Cameron's fiancée. She even sent me a message warning me not to get close to her man. After I blocked her, she borrowed a phone to send me a text. It made me extremely annoyed. I want to change my phone number. Cameron said nothing, took the Lou from my hand, and walked away. I deliberately walked very slowly behind, creating a long distance. I didn't look at him, nor did I speak to him, ignoring him just like he ignored me in his past life. Cameron felt my estrangement and turned his head several times as if wanting to say something. In the end, he still kept his mouth shut. He knows that some things can never go back. Perhaps it was to make up for something, or perhaps it was out of politeness. Cameron bought me a large bag of food at the supermarket by the station. I picked out a pack of original flavored sunflower seeds from inside. Cameron was surprised. Don't you like the others? Don't girls usually like these things? Sarah. He can't stop mentioning Sarah. Yet he says he doesn't like her? Is he lying to me or lying to himself? Not all girls like those snacks. It's Sarah who likes them. You remember all her preferences. Yet you forgot that I like original flavored sunflower seeds. Cameron suddenly covered his face, lowered his head in guilt, and choked out an apology. I'm sorry. I smiled in relief and pulled Lou toward the ticket gate. I didn't even get to say goodbye Cameron, because I never wanted to see him again. Chapter 09. I took the slow train sleeper, which made it convenient to enjoy the scenery along the way. The girl sitting across from me looked at the civil law book in my hand and asked if I was a freshman. Which school do I attend? After asking, I found out her name is Selena, and she is also from People's Public Security University. This is truly rare. The People's Public Security University only recruited 2 girls in our province this year. I encountered her as soon as I got on the bus. Her personality is a bit outgoing. After just 3 minutes of chatting, she called me sister and added me as a friend on WeChat. We studied the civil code together and talked about our ideals and future. We shared snacks together. The more we talked, the more we clicked. It felt like we had known each other for a long time. It wasn't until I got off the bus that I glanced at my phone. Cameron sent me a message. I'm sorry, I have neglected you these past 2 years. How can I make it up to you? It's not 2 years, it's 30 years, and I don't need any compensation. I deleted all contact information for Cameron and changed my phone number. During the winter break, I went home and visited my homeroom teacher. I accidentally heard him mention that Sarah was expelled and is repeating a year. I was quite surprised. How could she be expelled when everything was fine? The homeroom teacher looked a bit embarrassed. I heard it was because she stole her roommate's things. I guessed correctly. She couldn't resist temptation. She must have been expelled for the same reason in her past life, right? Why did Cameron mistakenly think it was me who did it? Does he habitually blame me for any bad things that happened to Sarah? In this life, I didn't attend the National Defense Science and Technology University and had already distanced myself from him early on. Did he really not suspect me? A year later, I went on a mission with my senior brothers and met Sarah at a nightclub. She was all over a scheming, rich second-generation heir. I suddenly understand that perhaps in her past life, she didn't marry that idle rich second generation just to make Cameron give up. She simply liked his money and married him in a flash, clearly bending for money. Yet she wants to leave Cameron with a beautiful name of sacrificing for love. Let Cameron live in guilt for a lifetime. Later, she left the rich second-generation man, not necessarily because of domestic violence, because at that time, the rich second-generation family went bankrupt, and Cameron was no longer under his parents' control. He has money, power, and connections, and my relationship with him was not good. She saw hope for rekindling her old romance with Cameron and sought protection from him under the guise of domestic violence. Cameron still had lingering feelings for her and owed her a favor, so the two hit it off. Cameron stayed within the boundaries of being a married man and never had a substantial relationship with Sarah. Sarah couldn't sit still and proactively sent me some ambiguous photos and videos, deliberately provoking me to create a scene Cameron, to target her. The more I made things difficult for her, the more Cameron felt guilty towards her and protected her. She used this kind of low-level trick to gradually drive a wedge between me and Cameron. Ultimately, she succeeded in rising to power. In my past life, both Cameron and I were her targets. I actually lost to such a petty person, and lost so miserably. This grudge cannot just be settled like this. The rich second generation is also our target. As long as Sarah's urine test is positive, she's finished. Just by looking at her enchanting appearance, one can tell she is beyond redemption. Under my malicious inducement, Sarah was charged with 3 offenses: provoking trouble, resisting arrest, and assaulting a police officer. In the end, Sarah was sentenced to 4 years. During her days in detention, Sarah pleaded for help from Cameron multiple times. Cameron couldn't even leave the school gate. How could he come to the northern region to save her? The spring festival of my junior year, I met Cameron at a class reunion. He was dressed in military uniform, tall and handsome, exuding righteousness. He stood out among a crowd of meticulously dressed men. Most of the women's gazes were also fixed on him. Everyone was very warm when they saw me. It's not because we haven't seen each other for many years. They miss me. It's simply because we have all matured and understood the importance of interpersonal relationships. I share the same thoughts as they do. Handling cases also requires a strong network. All the classmates present have the potential to become future industry elites and business tycoons. I am not afraid of anyone, nor will I easily offend anyone. I am already prepared Cameron to be questioned by Sarah. I didn't expect him to start with, "This skirt is really beautiful. It suits your temperament very well." I said, "Thank you." Neither his praise nor his criticism could stir my emotions anymore. A classmate mentioned Sarah being sentenced. "Cameron, weren't you both at the National Defense Science and Technology University together? Why did she drop out? What was the reason for her imprisonment in Northern Region?" Cameron took a sip of his drink and replied, "I don't know her well. I'm not clear about her situation." With just a few words. Not very familiar. Not clear. He brushed aside the person who once made his heart race. It turned out that he could also be so indifferent towards Sarah. It's really funny. In my past life, I worked hard for 30 years but couldn't make Cameron forget Sarah. In this life, I did nothing. Yet they parted ways early. Is this fate or human intervention? Chapter 10. Cameron invited me to his house to hang out for a few days. I refused. The schedule is packed. I really can't find the time. Cameron's eyes darkened. Is there really no possibility for us anymore? I reminded Cameron, right now. We can only be considered strangers. After all, you have already used our past friendship to plead for Sarah. I said before. From now on, we owe each other nothing. Cameron hasn't spoken to me since. Just drinking one glass after another. He has a great tolerance for alcohol. No group of guys combined can match him. As the night deepened, the girls left one after another. I was also getting ready to leave. Cameron, who was in the middle of a drinking game, stood up. "I will give this to you." Refusal should be useless to him, so I chose silence. Cameron dropped me off at the hotel entrance. He asked the question that had troubled him for a long time, "Why don't you contact my mom?" I don't want to answer, but he insists on getting a clear response. "My mom hasn't done anything wrong to you. Has she? Why did you even delete her WeChat?" Since he insists on knowing, I won't hide it from Lou Mom, so that he doesn't think I'm a heartless person. It's better to let him give up early, because those two men who molested me were instigated by her. That night, she was also at the bar. Cameron stepped back suddenly, almost falling to the ground. "This is impossible. She wouldn't do that to you." I scoffed. "Why don't you ask her yourself?" Cameron couldn't believe that it was a play directed by his mother. "No, she has never treated you this way. She has always regarded you as her own daughter." I retorted. "If she had no guilty conscience, why hasn't she contacted me for 3 years? Sarah always says in front of you that I orchestrated everything. Didn't you believe her? Why don't you believe now that your mom is the one orchestrating everything?" Cameron couldn't look at me. He felt guilty. He indeed had doubts about me. He would rather believe Sarah's slander against me than trust my character. I no longer had any lingering feelings for him. "You can go. I don't want to see you again." After Cameron left, I quickly arranged to go traveling with Selena. Cameron called me from 3 different phones, and I blocked all of them. After graduating from university, Selena and I started working at the provincial office. On our first day at work, we received a large stack of dating profiles. The profiles we received were almost identical. When we went to Uncle's house for dinner, we received another folder of dating profiles. It was personally organized by Aunt. This is carefully selected based on your preferences. Any of them come from reputable families and have clean backgrounds. You can just pick one with your eyes closed. I don't want to pick. I handed it over to Selena immediately. 3 months later, Selena got married in a flash. She set her sights on my aunt's nephew. He became my relative. 3 years later, Cameron appeared in my office. "I heard you still don't have a partner. Would you consider me?" I raised my eyebrows slightly and asked him coolly, "Do you think that's possible?" Cameron bitterly smiled. "I knew you would say that." "It's okay. I will wait until the day you cool down. I have already applied for a transfer to my superiors, and I will be moved here in 3 months. I want to buy a house here. Do you have any recommended properties? No, I'm very busy with work, so I won't see you off. After Cameron left, I applied for a transfer to my superior. By the time Cameron came back to find me in the hall after buying a house, I was already gone. When I turned 30, Cameron came knocking on my door again. Cecilia, I know you're still not married. Can't you consider me? I haven't had a single male friend all these years. I've been waiting for you. I know. Every time I run into old high school classmates, they always mention Cameron to me. They say he was talented in his youth and praise his cleverness. They also regret that he has never met the right person. But I have never waited for Cameron. I don't get married not because I don't have a partner. It's just because I am anti-marriage and anti-child. I have a boyfriend. Cameron was taken aback, then smiled. Cecilia, don't joke around. I know you are a very traditional woman. If you really had someone you liked, how could you possibly not? A handsome man with a tall and strong build came out of the bedroom wearing a bathrobe. Honey, who is he? Your colleague or the new neighbor? Cameron immediately noticed the ambiguous red marks on the man's chest and looked at me in disbelief. I shrugged. Ask Cameron if he wants to come in for a cup of tea. Cameron fled in a panic. Chapter 11. I closed the door and was about to go back to sleep. The man pinned me against the door. Is he your ex-boyfriend? Here to reconcile with you? I slapped Pablo on the forehead. You better tone it down, otherwise. Don't blame me for not giving your sister face and kicking you out. To put it nicely, you are my boyfriend. To put it bluntly, you are just my hookup. Don't interfere in my personal matters, in any aspect. Pablo changed from his earlier domineering CEO demeanor and started circling around me like a little puppy. I know I was wrong. Sister, I will honestly fulfill my role as a boyfriend. Next time he comes, I will definitely show great composure. I will never let you lose face outside. After sending Pablo away, I immediately called to scold Selena. Did you tell Cameron my address? What are you trying to do? Do you want to see him fight with your brother? If you want to deal with your brother, just tell me directly. There's no need to involve outsiders. The sound of Selena sipping coffee was very loud, like a hungry pig fighting for food. I just feel a bit sorry for him seeing him searching for you everywhere but finding no trace at all. What? Did he come at the wrong time and disturb your sleep? I snorted coldly, feeling sorry for a man will bring misfortune for a lifetime. Selena sighed. My poor brother. If I had known your heart was like iron, I wouldn't have introduced him to you in the first place. As if anyone would care about him. You can still introduce him to a soft-hearted goddess now. It's too late. Just now my brother called to ask me how he can defeat his rival in love without any official status. Is she proposing to her brother again in a roundabout way? As long as I don't take the bait, no one can convince me to get married. What does it matter whether I get married or not? If we can be together for a lifetime, what does it matter if there's that little booklet? If feelings change, a marriage certificate won't save anything. Isn't freedom to follow one's heart a good thing? Cameron epilogue. I thought I had plenty of time to win back Cecilia. I thought she just needed time to forgive me. I patiently waited for her to forget those unpleasant things, until I saw that man in a bathrobe in her house. It turns out she has already fallen in love with someone else. How could the girl I have protected for 18 years be taken away by another man? The moment I saw him, I had only one thought, kill him. But I didn't dare. I have already upset Cecilia. If I make a move in front of her again, it will only make her angrier. I turned back and found Mr. Liu. Mr. Liu has always liked me. As long as he steps in to help us reconcile, I always have a bit of a chance. But Mr. Liu hasn't been able to contact Cecilia for a whole year. How is that possible? After all, he is her father. At this moment, I remembered that Mr. Liu has been away from home for a long time, and his relationship with Cecilia Liu is quite distant. Aunt passed away, and he only came back for a week before leaving again. He has not returned since then. He didn't even come back for Cecilia's 18th birthday. This father of his has never fulfilled his responsibilities. During her hardest 3 years, it was only my mom and I who stayed by her side. And we at the same time, betrayed her. It turns out the most pitiful girl was never the financially struggling Sarah, but rather the seemingly privileged yet truly lonely Cecilia. She leaned against several great mountains, yet not a single person was her support. My mother's kindness towards her is calculated, while my affection was given to another long ago. She lives alone in this world, without anyone who truly cares for her or accompanies her. So, now she doesn't love any of us. What have I done? Why did I treat her that way? Why do I feel like she is fearless and doesn't need me? Why can't I always see her helplessness and bitterness? Now, she finally doesn't want me anymore, nor does she want Mr. Lou anymore. This is the retribution we deserve. Chapter 12. Sarah has come to find me to reconcile again. What kind of woman, who has been with several men and has been to prison, deserves even a glance from me? If she hadn't been pretending to be pitiful in front of me all the time to gain sympathy, Cecilia wouldn't have left me. I hate her and want to throw her back into prison. The moment I thought of my mom, I agreed. I took her back to my hometown to see my mom. I told her, if you can convince my mom to accept you as a daughter-in-law, then I will marry you. Just as I guessed, my mom and Sarah tormented each other for over half a year. The more they tried to get along, the more they wished the other would die. Later, they had a big fight. They both ended up in the hospital. My mom threatened me that if I dared to marry Sarah, she would jump off a building to commit suicide. In the end, I didn't marry Sarah. It wasn't because I was afraid my mom would commit suicide. It was because I had caught the eye of Commander's daughter, Yao Qianling. She insisted that she would only marry me, no matter what. The commander, unable to handle his precious daughter's insistence, personally came to ask me what I thought. What could I think? Naturally, a willful and headstrong woman like her should be married off to take care of my mom. On the wedding day, my mom played the role of the mother-in-law, making Yao Qianling kneel to serve her tea. Yao Qianling is a precious gem raised with endless pampering. When has she ever knelt before anyone? She raised her hand and splashed tea onto my mother's face. My mother swung her hand to strike, but Yao Qianling caught my mother's hand and they began to wrestle. The guests couldn't help but snicker. The commander and my dad both turned red in the face. Unsure of what to do, they all looked at me. I won't help anyone. This daughter-in-law is the kind my mother wants. A well-matched heiress who would benefit my future. What reason does she have not to be accommodating? This family is one where Yao Qianling cried and made a scene, threatening the commander countless times before marrying in. What reason does she have not to accept my mother as her mother-in-law? I put all my energy into work, completely ignoring how my mother and wife are causing a ruckus at home. When I'm in a good mood, I go back to visit and spend time with the kids. When I'm in a bad mood, I just stay at the office. My wife praises me, saying I'm not like other men who only help their mothers bully their wives. She says I'm an extraordinary good man, capable, ambitious, and never fooling around outside. Marrying me was the best decision she ever made in her life. Are women really that easily satisfied? Is Cecilia also like this? My mom scolded me for being unfilial, indulging my wife in bullying her. I asked her to think about Sarah. I asked her whether she really wanted Sarah to be her daughter-in-law or if she wanted Yao Qianling to be her daughter-in-law. My mom blurted out that she wanted Cecilia to be her daughter-in-law. I couldn't hold back any longer and rushed out of the house, silently crying in the heavy rain. I also want to marry Cecilia, but it's all too late. She, who always claimed she would never marry or have children, has gotten married to that man who wore a bathrobe in her house. She is no longer the little green plum who used to revolve around me. I no longer call my mom Lou Mom. Our fate ended the first time I developed feelings for Sarah. The rest of my life is long, and I can no longer softly call her name Cecilia. If it weren't for my mom finding someone to molest her back then, we might have been a happy family. It's all my fault. Why do you have to be so nice to Sarah? Let everyone misunderstand that I like her. If only I could have seen through myself and Cecilia sooner. Maybe our child is as tall as I am now. If time could be reversed, I would be willing to give everything.